folks. Welcome to Calvin's Got Game. I'm Calvin.
I'm Lewis.
And today we are continuing on our series of great games from certain years. We started in 1996?
No, 1990.
1990. So we started 1990. We went 5-year intervals and picked a game out of pretty much each year. Sometimes we had multiples in a year, but I started picking one out of each year. So today we're doing 2011 to 2015. Before we get started with telling you what those great games are, we do have some comments to get to. And I'd like to say this is on our Push Your Luck video that we did, the games and that. Fred Cabrera said he loves Quacks of Quedlinburg, Can't Stop, and Push. I love Quacks of Quedlinburgs too. And it would have been on my Push Your Luck games, but I'm trying to bring different games, not games we always talk about.
Right.
So I didn't put it on the list. It is a great game for sure. I've never played Can't Stop. I know about it. I've just never played it. It's an older game, and at some point I'll probably get it done, get it looked at. And then Push, I own Push, and I like it a lot. So then Mark Patoka said they play Zilch with their in-laws, with his in-laws, and it's kind of like Farkle.
Okay.
You ever played Farkle? He says it's like Farkle. Also said the Quacks of Quedlinburg for his Push Your Luck game, and also Can't Stop. So Can't Stop must be great. It's been mentioned by a couple of folks, and the Quacks of Quedlinburg is a great game as well. It was mentioned both times. And then we have Zilch. So, guys, I do respond to your comments. I enjoy reading them. So in this video for 2011 to 2015, if you have some games in that range that you really enjoy, let us know what they are. And if you think some of the games we put in there you played, you like them, let us know. And also, how I picked my games, I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. How I picked my games was I looked at the 2011 to 2015 games, and I picked games out of there that I enjoy playing that are great games that I don't always talk about. So I try to bring different games so people can hear about it.
And for myself, same thing. Games I have either played or watched, or watched someone play it, and Can't Stop. I have seen folks play it, never played it. Of course, every time I've seen Can't Stop, the song "Can't Stop the Feeling" comes in my head. But I'll say from 11 to 15, I try to get games that folks hardly ever talk about too.
Right, because games. We're in the board gaming industry. People are the cult of the new. Yes. They want the new games. Well, guys, there's a ton of games out there that are older that are fantastic. And some of the newer games, yes, are prettier and yes, have nice little cute pieces, and I get all that. But show some of them older games some love. How about that? Anything else you want to say before we get started, Lewis?
No, you might find a little surprise on my list.
I can't wait, Lewis. I found lots of surprises on some of your lists, so I can't wait. Well, do you want to go first or would you like me to?
I went first last time, so you go ahead.
Last video, you went first. All right.
Yeah.
My first game from 2011 is Walnut Grove. Walnut Grove is by Lookout Games. It's for 1 to 4 players. Takes about 30 to 60 minutes to play, and it's ranked 1,813 on BGG. Now, Walnut Grove has a rondelle system. At one point in the game, you play over, I think it's 4 seasons. In summer, spring, winter, and fall, you are trying to build your property out. You don't have to match the tiles that you put out on your farm with water, land, trees, whatever, but it is helpful to do that. And then during the fall, I think it is, or spring, you send people out to collect and harvest, right, in your fields that you have, the things that you planted and done. And then so that would be spring, you're collecting the harvest. And then in fall, you go to town and you use a rondelle system to move. There's 2 people in there that you're going to move them. You can't move one past a certain spot. To get certain things in town, you get bank loans, you can get other things, and it's pretty. You can go to the general store. There's some other things that you can go to, and then winter, you got to feed your folks. You got to feed them and keep them warm. So if you have more workers and you can't keep them all warm or can't feed them, you're gonna lose them. So you got to make sure that you're doing all that. You're placing your land out, getting cattle or whatever you're getting in farm vegetables and stuff out on your farm. It's a great game. I don't think it gets a lot of discussion. It is out of print. It is more expensive to find. But it is such a great game. Walnut Grove.
One of my selections.
You have nothing to say about Walnut Grove?
Actually,
I'm
no.
just kidding.
No, I don't.
You probably hadn't heard of it.
Yeah, that one. Hey, I haven't heard of it. I have not seen no gameplay.
You know the TV show, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well, it has nothing like that.
I'm about to say that about.
It's nothing like the TV show.
Well, because I'm going Walnut Grove. I know the show. I don't know the board game.
Yeah, there's no Charles Ingalls or whatever his name is in there.
No, you're right, Charles Ingalls. Yes, which is I think Walnut Grove is a spin-off from another show, I believe.
Little House on the Prairie. Walnut Grove was in Little House on the Prairie. That
Yes,
was the
that's
town,
right.
Walnut
Yes.
Grove.
Yes. Yeah, movie buff, show
There
buff
you
here. One of my selections in the particular order is a 2014 game. It's called Splendor. Publisher Space Cowboys. 2 to 4 players, about 30 minutes to play. In Splendor, what you do is you collect cards, and as you collect cards, you're going to be turning these cards in to get jewels. As you get the jewels, you get points. And as you keep going, the points, trying to buy these jewels gets difficult because you need a certain set for each type of jewel. Mm-hmm. And when you get to, I think, the last top...
I think whoever gets to 15 points first.
15 points wins on that. But...
Well, they don't necessarily win because everybody will get to finish their turn.
Yes.
So if somebody goes over that or ties them and you have the least amount of cards that you bought, you'll win.
Yes. Yeah. So, yes, I win. I got 15 points. Wait a minute. Everybody gets one more turn.
Yeah.
And you think you win until the very last moment that you might have it or might not. So sometimes waiting for getting those high point cards, jewels, is good. But like myself, I nibble. And folks looking, okay, he has a lot over there. Does he have enough? Mm-hmm. And that's when some folks panic. Okay, no, I have to wait. Sometimes you wait too long and you run out of time. But yeah, 2014 game, Splendor.
Yeah, I like Splendor. I like the little poker chips that have the jewels on them because you get to select so many jewels at the first to try to match the cards on the bottom. When you buy a card, it has points on it.
Yes.
Yeah. And then you got three people that you're in the court or whatever they are that you're trying to impress with a certain amount of jewels, and they'll give you quite a few victory points. Yes. So it's a great game. It's fun. It's fast, and I love the little poker chips. Fantastic. All right. My 2012 game is DC Deck Building. It's by Cryptosaic Entertainment, 2 to 5 players. Takes about 45 minutes to play, and it's ranked 1028 on BGG. Now, DC Deck Building, it's a deck builder, right? If you've ever played a deck builder, you start out with a crappy hand of cards, and you're trying to draft cards out of the middle by buying them with what points you have. You're doing damage to some bad guys, but the problem is you got to do all the damage at once. Mm-hmm. So you usually don't have enough damage to do anything to any of the villains until you start really building up your deck. I like the combo on the cards, and it's DC Universe, Superman, was it Batman,
Green Lantern.
Yeah, all those folks. So anyway, you can play it competitive by whoever kills the most villains. There's little points on them and things. You can add those up in the game, or you can play it cooperatively where everybody wins if we kill all the bad guys. And you have a deck of bad guys that you're trying to kill in each game, and they are different each time except for, I think, the final boss, if that's the one you choose. DC Deck Building is a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot. I like Marvel as well, so, Marvel's good too. There's a Marvel legendary deck building game. It's great, but DC Deck Building, I think, has been forgotten. And I'm not talking about the Teen Titans version. I'm talking about the original DC Deck Building. So, if you haven't ever played it, go check it out. If you like deck building, I think you might enjoy it.
That's one that I've been planning to get, but haven't had a chance. Yeah. And it takes someone that has played it to play with you.
Sure.
And that's the thing. I haven't found not the time or the person that has the time to play with.
I have it. It's here. There it is, right over there. And it's right under Teen Titans by Gloomhaven in there. Yeah, the box is pretty bashed up because we played a lot. We used to when my sons were on.
See, that's one I want to get to the table and play. So, great game.
Yeah, fantastic game.
My next one, you probably have heard of this one, I believe, is the Renaissance of Avalon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. A 2012 game, Indian Boards and Cards publisher, 5 to 10 players, 30 minutes to play.
This one's in the Resistance line of world, right? It's in the
Yes. And this it's a great game. Thing is, I don't own it, and I have only played it a couple of times, but I don't own it because it's 5 to 10 players.
Yeah, it's hard to get those.
Yeah, it's hard to get those games to the table unless you have a big group coming. Basically, you are Merlin, and you're advising the king and his knights. Well, guess what? Merlin has an enemy.
No.
Of course.
What?
Morgana and her assassin. You set up a board, small little board, and you pick to go out on missions. This has been done with other games.
Resistance, yeah.
Yes. And you pick, depending how many players, depending how many folks going to go on each mission, and it goes up a track. As you keep going, different missions require different individuals going on. The king, there's a king that can choose who's going on a mission. He can choose himself to go on the mission and pick somebody else. And they take cards, go underneath this table, see if they accept the mission or not. They accept, okay. Then they take cards to see if this mission is successful.
Right.
Now, if the mission is not accepted, guess what? The king is passed on.
Right.
After the mission is done and it's resolved, the king another time is passed on. So the king keeps changing around. Now, Merlin knows who the assassin and bad guys are. No, not the assassin, correction. The bad guys are.
Okay.
Yeah, the Merlin does. But Merlin can't basically say it.
He's trying not to get caught because I think if the assassin kills him,
the game is lost.
Yeah.
Yes, the game is lost. So Merlin can help out trying to keep the missions going.
It's the gameplay. Oh, don't pick them. Oh, don't pick them.
Yes.
We've succeeded the last time, and you're gonna pick. Yeah.
So Merlin knows who it is, but of course Morgana knows. She knows who the assassin is. So Morgana is trying to get the assassin to figure out who Merlin is. So it's kind of two folks outside the game knows who everybody is, but everybody else inside the game don't know who it is. So it's that little bit of trying to convince everybody else, go for this, go for that, on that makes the game interesting. But yes, it is 5 to 10 players. It's hard to get to the board table though. But yeah, that is for my 2012 year Renaissance Avalon.
Yeah, that is Resistance with a skin, new skin, basically. And we've had a lot of fun with the Resistance over the years as a game group. Avalon, I think I played it maybe once. But I prefer the original Resistance. It's just as good. But it's better if you play it with a larger group of people.
Yes, it is.
For the full 10, it's a lot more fun than if you have 5.
Yes. Yeah, the sweet spot on this, it is 10. It is 10.
I think it is because even in Resistance, the more players you have, the better it is. And I am always the one, and I'm probably... Dice Tower did a list of most, not hated gamers, but traits of gamers they don't like, and I'm probably one of those because I like to antagonize, like, oh no, he's the that's me. But I think that makes the games more fun.
Yes, because do you trust him or not trust him? Is that the...
I'm always trying to throw shade at everybody else. Even though I may not be the bad guy, I'm throwing shade at everybody just to make it interesting. Because if everybody's just sitting there being quiet,
right,
to me the game's no fun, right? You've got to have a little banter in the game.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's that banter between folks
Yeah.
That what makes the game fun.
And if you get a new person in there, they're kind of looking like, holy crap, these people are really serious. And you're not really serious about the game. It's just fun to talk a little trash.
Right.
To make it fun, especially on the games with traders.
Yes.
I love it. Good pick, Lewis.
Well, thank you.
Welcome. All right, my 2013 game is the Legacy, The Testament of Duke de Crecy. This is by Portal Games. It's 1 to 4 players. Takes 60 minutes to play. It's ranked 1062 on Board Game Geek. In Legacy, The Testament of Duke de Crecy, which is a long name. You're basically a family, and you're trying to marry your children off and get grandchildren to carry on your legacy. So you're building a family tree, basically. So you're drafting cards, and there's other things you can do. You can have children, and you can do other things. It is just fun building the family. So I'm marrying off my daughter to the colonel of whatever, or the captain of the boatyard, or whatever it may be, and it's funny, right? It's a fun game. It's building a family tree. It's not real serious, There's no, there is whoever has the most. I think it's the most victory points by how many grandkids or layers of family. What do you call those?
Generations?
Generations, thank you. How many generations? Thank you, Lewis. That word went whoop, whoop. How many generations of people you have in your family. So it is just a lot of fun. And there's other things you can do in the game. You can... there's a board out there. I can't remember all the things you can do on it. But it's a little bit of worker placement and a lot of family tree building. If you've never played it, it is really good. I have the expansion where sometimes you can try to have a child and it doesn't make it and things like that. Kind of in that year that this thing is made, there wasn't a lot of medical technology going on at that time. So things happen, and it is just a really interesting game. If you've never played it, you might want to. I got this game at a BGG con in Dallas or Fort Worth, wherever it was. It was really good. I enjoyed it, so I got the expansion as well. So if you ever get a chance to play Legacy, The Testament of Duke de Crecy, or Crecy, or however you say his name, Decree, I don't know, get it to the table. I think you'll enjoy it.
Well, we'll beat you in that game.
Probably, Lewis.
Because you're Latino. Latinos have a whole bunch of kiddos.
Oh, I wasn't going there, Lewis. I'm just saying these are old, established white folks from the whatever. I don't know, but it's a fun game. So a family tree, building that family tree and watching it grow is pretty interesting. And marrying off certain people, because certain people have more power than others. Certain people do, and there's little things on the card that allow you to do certain things.
Okay.
So it is good.
I know I threw you off there.
You silly man.
My next one, also from 2012. It's a game that you actually introduced me to.
Hey.
Legends of Andor.
Andor. You get it right.
Okay. It's a Cosmos publisher, 2 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes to play. It's basically it's a legacy game. That's why I call it, because it's many chapters.
It's not necessarily legacy, but it is a scenario-based game.
Right.
Yeah. Legacies where you're opening new content.
Right.
Scenario-based is you have different scenarios to play as you go along.
Okay.
That's me. But you can call it whatever you want.
To me, it's legacy because it does open new chapters.
Sure. Once you finish one, a new one comes in, and the story adds.
Yes. And it's the game you introduced me to is a game that I want to go, and of course there's several expansions to this game, several, and
I'm missing one.
Just one, really?
Just one.
So, Ender, you are 4 characters, and you get to pick from them: a wizard, a dwarf, elf, and a fighter, which is human, and each of them have their abilities, and the scenario differs between what you pick because you have a card set, and you never know what might be coming out.
That's exactly right.
There are little tokens that has little stuff on there, and as you flip them, might be something good, very rarely, and it's going to be something bad most often. You have to defend this castle you have from orcs and giants,
jackals, and all kinds of crap.
At each turn you take, after you finish your turns, these creatures keep coming in. And on the side of this castle, there are certain slots, shields, that if you surpass the creatures, the amount of shields, you lose.
Yep.
And you gotta try again. Well, there's other ways to get shields, but like have Calvin said before, sometimes you have to sacrifice the little peasants. I can't. I want to save them. I want to save them.
Lewis almost made us lose a game because he had to go back and get one peasant.
But we won.
We did win, but, peasant could have croaked. It would have made a difference.
Probably later did.
Nah.
So you go through these scenarios. It's a very beautiful board, in my opinion.
It's nice.
The pieces are very easy to decipher. The constant having the story changing depending on which you pick. There was one chapter that you can play it several times.
Yeah, it has multiple endings. You can play different. You can play it easy or hard. We played on easy.
Yes.
But there is a hard version that you can play, which would take you on a harder path.
Right. So, but how it embraces you and gives you chances to use your movements to accomplish stuff is interesting.
It is.
And how you have to be aware of which way the enemies are going. Because if the enemies land where you are, you lose stuff.
Yes, you can. If you're carrying something that they don't want you to get back to the castle, or you're carrying a person, they kill that person.
Yes. So, 2012 Legend of Ender is my to-go game.
Well, I love that game. I can't not say anything about it. The cool thing about it is all the monsters, where they're going to go.
Yes.
Because they all have a certain path they have to travel in, and they're usually all going towards the castle.
Yes.
So eventually they're going to get to the castle. But this game's also puzzle. It's a puzzle because you can't just kill everybody, because if you kill someone, it moves the timing track up.
Yes.
So if you kill someone, you have to move the time track up. And some of the spots on the time track have things that activate. Right.
Yes.
And so it could bring more monsters on the board. It could bring Prince Thorald out to help you. It could do a lot of stuff. And with the different scenarios, it's not always guarding the castle. It may be finding an herb to bring back to the castle to help the king because he's dying.
Yes.
There's just...
Take down the witch.
Yeah, there's a witch, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can do in Legends of Andor. I find the game very fun. It is puzzly, so if you're playing it with someone they play like Zombicide and stuff before, they're like, I gotta kill everything. No, don't kill everything. We have to strategically kill off monsters that could possibly go into the castle. And there's a few that you just allow to go to the castle.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do.
They're just too tough to beat.
Well, either that or they're so close, the next move they're going in. And the monsters, if they land on a responsible monster, they skip over and go to the next space. So it can get hairy pretty fast.
Yes.
I love that game. And I do. I got 1, 2, 3. I got the base game, 3 expansions. I'm looking for the last one. And once I get it, I think it will be complete. Hopefully, unless they bring out another one. All right. That's a good game, Lewis. You know I like that one.
Oh, I know.
My 2014 game is called Paperback. Paperback is by Fowler's Game, 2 to 5 players, 45 minutes to play, ranked 662 on Board Game Geek. Now, in Paperback, you're an author. I think I'm saying that right. An author. Not Arthur like a person, but an author.
Yes.
And you're trying to write books. So you're dealt a hand of cards with letters on them. I think everybody starts with kind of the same. I can't remember. But anyway, so you're going to form words, and by forming words, you score points to spend on drafting more cards. It's a deck builder. So you're drafting more cards into your hand to help you build words. And if you can get a word that has enough points on it, you can write a book about a Western, sci-fi, a love story, horror. So you could get these, and that scores you points. And those books become, when you get them, they're a wild card. So they can be any letter you want it to be. Now, when you first start out, you're writing 3-4 letter words, right? Because that's all you really have to put together. And there's also a card out in the middle that has a couple of vowels on it that you can use. So it could be, or it has one vowel on it. So it could be an E. So you can use that E in your word and just say, I'm using that E for this word. Or an A or whatever. But you're basically, if you like Scrabble, I think you'll like Paperback. The thing I like about it is competitive, but it also has a cooperative mode, which me and my wife play, where you set up a pyramid of those books, and you have to complete all the books before a certain time. You're putting tokens on these books. If you don't complete them in time, for each round you don't get a book, you have to put a token on it. If it accumulates so many tokens, you'll lose the game. Okay. So the game's a lot of fun. Like I said, if you like Scrabble and you like word games, I think Paperback would be for you.
Never heard of that one. That one has...
They have another one out. I don't know if it's called Hardback or something like that, but...
Now, Hardback, there was a game out there, I don't know if it's called Hardback, but yes, the description, what you said, reminds me of another game just like it.
Yeah, there's another one. It's a newer one
than
Paperback. Paperback was a little older, and then it came out with a new one, kind of a sequel to it.
Okay. Yeah, and I heard about that, but the Paperback title, I've never, but there was a board game out there that goes along that way.
Yeah, it's a fun game. It's a deck builder as well, and I love deck builders. So if you guys have a deck builder out there that you think I would like, shoot me a comment. I'd love to hear about it.
My first one for 2015 is called... Now, I've heard it called a couple of things.
Whatever. I may not be able to help.
I call it Iki.
Iki?
Yes. It's I-K-I.
It looks like a Japanese game to me, Lewis.
Yes.
So I don't know how they pronounce the letters, so that sounds great to me.
Okay. I've heard it called... I call it Iki or Ikai. So...
Yeah.
I might mispronounce it, and I'm sorry if I do.
Apology to the publishers if we mispronounce it.
So it's a 2015 game. Uchudio publisher. I know I screwed that up. 2 to 4 players, 60 to 90 minutes to play. This one, if you have issues with board games that you play with somebody and they have an engine going that their turn comes around and they get all these resources on their turn, and you're going, how can I get that going? I know one is Wingspan. The Wingspan is one way that folks got, it's my turn and they get all this stuff. And a lot of folks get thrown off by that. Well, board games like that, this is the opposite. Because in this board game, you are a, let's say, a business owner.
Okay.
And you are hiring people, putting them in the shop to work for you.
Okay.
As you go around, and the way you go around, you got to place one of your meeples on how many steps you're going to take.
Okay.
And when it's your turn, you take those steps. As you go around, you collect your stuff. You gotta collect your stuff from your own merchants that you hired, and then you can collect stuff from other merchants that you didn't hire that somebody else owned. Of course, you have to pay them. So you always collecting stuff, no matter what.
Okay.
Now, one thing about this, when most times you have something and you have to set it aside when they finish up all their tasks, you set that card aside to be worth points at the end of the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, while that person, what they call retired, that person still give you benefits.
Oh, okay.
So even though they're retired, they're still giving you benefits on the side.
Interesting.
So you're not losing anything to retire them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you retire a certain amount of cards in a certain amount of way, they give you points at the end. So it's a good thing to retire them.
Okay.
Now, you are moving around the track one way. So as you keep moving, and depending on what you bet on steps you take, you can manipulate on what you get. This is a 12-round game. Spring, summer, fall and winter.
Okay.
So 12 rounds, and it goes pretty quick. It does go pretty quick. When you first open it, it looks a lot, very, very busy.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get down to playing it, it's very, very simple.
Mm-hmm.
There is some strategy. There's one strategy that if you get I believe, a fish for every month or every round, but they call them month, every round, major and around points.
Okay.
Or I think pair of shoes, I believe, is another thing. However, when you're playing 3 people, not too hard to do it. When you're playing more than 2 people, 3 people, like 4, it is hard.
Okay.
Because if you go into for that fish for every month, and you don't get every month, you lose on the bonus. So you have to be careful on how you strategize on this. It's a very simplified game. You do 3 things. You recruit, you travel, then if you can, buy a building. By buying the buildings, you have to be careful. There is a little surprise there. There is something that happens in so many rounds that can destroy your building.
Oh,
I'm not saying what it is. I let folks look it up and find out.
I'm sure it could be Godzilla, hurricane, whatever. Right?
Whatever. No, it's something. And a lot of folks, this one little feature, they do not like it. But it keeps the tension on there.
Sure.
Makes you try to plan ahead to be careful on when you build this building. But yeah, IKEA.
No, it's a store.
That is a store. One thing. IKEA, that's how I pronounce it, is my first 2015 game.
All right. I've never heard of that game. I think I saw it played on... I watched a video on it somewhere. And, it looked pretty.
It is.
But it just didn't seem like something I might be interested in. But who knows? I'll give it a shot to play it at some point.
I played it once, and I went for the fish thing. Bad idea.
Yeah, sounds like a game that if you get behind, you may not be able to catch up. So I like games that have a catch-up mechanism that, for people who are not as versed in the game as others. Because there are games that just, once somebody gets they build their engine, they're out in front, and you're just, if you made a bad decision somewhere along the way at the very front, you're never going to catch up.
But this one will let you, because having those retired individuals that are still giving you benefits is a plus.
Okay, well, if that's the case, then I might enjoy it. But I don't like games that have a deal where if somebody knows the game better than you and they build their engine faster, they're just going to run away with the game, and there's no way you can win. So now you're just playing to be playing the game, right? Now, which I don't mind, but it can be frustrating.
No, that one little scenario that I'm not mentioning can mess up that person that's ahead.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, my next game, my 2015 game, is called Darkness Comes Rattling. It's by Wired Games. 2 to 6 players, 60 to 120 minutes to play. It's ranked 9,783 on BGG. The reason why I think it's ranked so low is I don't believe this game got a lot of love. I don't think it's been played enough and ranked enough by enough people. But in Darkness Comes Rattling, this kind of goes on the Native American, I don't want to say folklore, but it is very Native American themed, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. There's 4 winds that you have to appease, and you have to make sure that the winds are happy. And what has happened is this rattlesnake has swallowed the sun.
Mm-hmm.
And so you, as these, I want to say tribe members, you're all working together. It's a cooperative game. You're trying to appease the winds, fight off monsters on the board, try not to let certain areas get overrun, and you get certain items. And so at one point in the game, one person's going to have to go down into the belly of the snake. So he's going to go inside the snake to chase the sun before it goes all the way through the snake. It is very hard. This game is very, very difficult. You better be well equipped to go into the snake. But everybody on the outside of the board is still helping the person inside the snake. So it is helpful that everybody's doing well on the outside of the board and you're keeping those winds happy. Because if you're not keeping the winds happy, bad things can happen. You can actually lose them. You'll flip them over and they no longer will help you. They no longer smile upon you, if you will. The game is different. That's why I sought it out, because I thought, how many games play on the Native American folklore of this kind of thing? I mean, it is really impressive. The game is nice. It's fun, but difficult. And I enjoy playing it. I've beat it once, and I've played it numerous of times. So the replayability of this game is really good because things come out at different times. It's just a fantastic game. If you've never heard of it, go watch a video on it somewhere. I think you'll find it interesting, and I really do enjoy the theme of the game. And the person that goes down the snake, man, it's a little nerve-wracking going through that. You're like, it's just going down a track. Yes, but there's things that you do going down that track that you have to meet to be able to move on to the next space. It's a fantastic game. I enjoyed it a lot. That is Darkness Comes Rattling.
That's a game that my wife, and my wife don't play much,
right,
wants to play because she saw the playthrough.
Mm-hmm.
She asked at Three Sons Unlimited, did they have it?
Mm-hmm.
She said, I looked, they didn't have it.
I think it's out of print as well.
It is
I'm
out
not
of print.
sure, but I think
that's what I'm thinking. It's out of print. And my wife said she likes the concept of it. And recently there was another game on Kickstarter, Indian Base. It also was a co-op game, and she actually backed this one, the very first game she ever backed. Mm-hmm. And I went, really? Wow. Yeah. She actually won, and she waited until, she said she's going to back it no matter what, but she waited until the very end to make sure, because she wanted all the little stuff.
Sure.
And hey, I can't blame
Well, I mean,
her.
Here's the thing, that those Kickstarter GameFound campaigns, they put out those what do you call them, rewards if you hit certain amounts of money that they make.
Yeah.
You're going to get them no matter what, no matter when you back it. But I just find it interesting. There's some that I'll back immediately. I'll go, I'm backing that no matter what. And then there's some I do wait and go, I'm going to have to do a little more research to see if this game's actually for me.
Yes.
And so anyway, yeah.
Yeah, but that one, and that's what she's gravitating now. I'm finally realized any game that is basically Native American, she's going to gravitate toward.
Well, I have a little Native American in my bloodline, so I don't have a lot, but I do have some. My grandfather and my his twin sister were, they had a lot of Native American blood in them. So it is interesting, and I do like that as well. Finding that culture very interesting at times. Your last game?
Yeah, my last game. Yeah, went blank. Okay.
It's okay. Senioritis is catching.
My final game, 2015 game, is called Red 7. Estimate Games publisher. I think I messed that up. Sorry. 2 to 4 players, 5 to 30 minutes to play. I'm pretty sure you heard of this one. Red 7.
Yeah, and for to pronounce it's Asmati.
Asmati. Thank you.
Asmati.
Asmati.
There's an Asmodee and an Asmati. So Asmati Games. Yes.
Asmati Games.
Yeah.
Okay. So it is a 2015 game. Now, I looked it up. It said 2014, then it said 2015 in 2 different locations.
There's probably a remake of it. Yeah.
So it's nice game. Very quick game. 5 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And the 30 minutes is probably if you play several rounds on this.
Yeah, because it goes fast.
Yes. The fastest I've seen it play, which I played it, is 2 minutes. So basically, you have hand cards dealt to you, and it's basically the highest card wins.
Well, it depends on the color, because all the cards. If this is a game I'm thinking about, all the cards have a rule on it.
Yeah, have a rule on it.
And you have to be winning at the end of your turn.
Right.
So the next person, they've got to be winning or they're out of the game.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last person standing wins.
Right.
Right.
And each color with each rule is different. So the one might have something that the next card after that has to be in a red in the odd. I don't remember all the rules. It's been a while since I played it. But yes, each card is different colors. Have sets from 1 to 7, but they have different rules on each one.
Yeah.
And whoever is left standing at the end wins the game, wins that round. And you keep going until everybody's out and the last person is standing. Very simple game, not much to it, very quick. It's one of those games that, yes, it says 2 to 4 players, but it can play more folks.
Probably. I mean, you just had to deal with more cards. But you don't use all the cards either.
No, you don't use all the cards. You only use, I forgot how many cards you pull out.
I think it's 5 or 7.
I think it's...
I mean, each player gets 5 or 7, and there's a pretty good-sized deck, I thought.
Yeah, it is a pretty good size. There's 49 cards.
Yeah, so it'd probably be 7.
7 each one. So, yeah, and it's depending what the rules says on the cards, depending how quick you can be out or you keep going. But yes, 2015 game is Red 7.
I like that game okay. I found that the rule set how can I say this? I found that the people I played it with, it was rather confusing for them because they didn't understand the concept of I have to be winning at the end of my turn.
Yes.
Right? And I don't know what keeps dinging over here, but something's dinging. Anyway. And I think it confused a lot of people I was playing with. I'm like, no, your card says you have to have the most red cards or something, right? Or whatever it is. And they were like, well, I don't want to play that card. Well, then take it back and play a different card. And so when you're teaching a game, you might want to let people do some do-overs, you know, and stuff like that. Because when you're teaching a game, not everybody's going to get the concept really fast. I liked the game, but I found that I couldn't get it to the table because some of the folks I played it with got irritated with not understanding how they can win at the end of their turn, or and the next person has to go. So I traded it off.
Right. Yeah.
I got rid of it.
Well, if there are not many games that goes by that you have to be winning at the end of your turn. Yeah. It's mostly at the end of the whole thing you have to be winning, but not at the end of your turn.
Right.
And it's a very unique concept.
It is a very unique concept for sure.
So it is a board game, a card game, technically a card game, that it is not for everybody, but if you have folks that want to just do something different, and don't mind doing a few rounds as learning rounds, so you can do a retake, like you says.
Well, I think gamery people that play a lot of board games would get it. And it's fine. But if you're playing with new folks, that concept sometimes they're going, I don't understand.
Right.
Because some of the rules on there, on some of the cards, you're going, what does this mean? Why do I have to have the highest blue card, right? Or whatever. And you're like, well, you just have to have the highest blue card in your tableau or whatever you're building down there. So it's different.
Because I know one of those says you have to have all odd cards.
Because or even.
Oh,
right?
Even, yeah.
So you have to play a card in front of you and discard a card that will have you winning at the end of your turn, if I remember the game correctly.
Yes.
So it can be frustrating to new gamers, for sure.
But yeah, that was my 2015 game and my last game.
I enjoyed the game, Lewis. I think it's fine. Guys, that's all we have for our 2011 to 2015. If you have any comments that you would like to let us know about, any games that you think that we left off the list. Now, remember, there are a lot of great games from 2011 to 2015.
Yes.
Fantastic games that I probably didn't put on my list because I was trying not to talk about the same games over and over and over again. There's games that's been on our top 100. There's games that we talk about in other videos. And so I try to put different games into this 2011 or the year games so that people can say, wow, I never heard of that game. I didn't know that was in 2015. Let me go look for that game. So that's what I try to do, and I think Lewis does the same.
Yes, because one thing is, it's good to have all these new games coming out, but some of the unique games that don't get the major publicity like some other games do on these YouTube channels like ours need some attention because they're unique. Some of them have great artwork like IKEA. Oh, not IKEA, IKEA. Okay.
That's the way you pronounce it.
It is a very beautiful game, but a lot of folks haven't heard about it.
Right.
So yes, we try to put games out there that is, if all possible, unique.
Yeah. And it's the same way we do with some of the other videos. We try to put different games on there. But anyway, with all that being said, guys, hit that subscribe button. We picked up a few more subscribers. Guys, I thank you for hitting that button. I thank you for telling other people about the channel. And guys, if you're here, you like some of the stuff we put out, hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell for notifications when new one comes out. We're trying to put out more content each week. So hopefully most weeks we put out at least a couple videos. Sometimes we hit 3.
Yes.
So it just depends. If there's a game that we mentioned that you want to learn more about, let us know. We'll try to explain the rules, show the cards or whatever's in the box, go over a few rules on how the game plays, kind of set it up for you, and you can decide for yourself whether you like it or not. But anyway, that's all I got, guys. I do appreciate each and every one of the subscribers I already have. And if we make it to 500 by December 31st, I am buying a board game of 2024, and I am giving it away to subscribers only in the contiguous 48 states. 49. What am I talking about? 48 states. So Alaska and Hawaii probably won't be in for the drawing. It's a little more expensive to ship, and it does come out of my pocket, so it would have to be the contiguous 48 states. Guys, get a board game to the table, spend time with your friends and your family, and thanks for watching Calvin's Guide Game.